Alright, so Mudahar has replied. I didn't get the chance to watch it yesterday, but let's watch it today. Let's see what he says. Let's see if he even addresses, you know, the drama. Let's go there and boom.
Yeah, it's me, Mudahar, and it's safe to say it's been a pretty wild week.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at YouTube apparently rolling out an AI to verify if we are actually under or over the age of 18. You know, when it comes to the internet, ladies and gentlemen, the past...
Does it happen over there too? I'm glad it hasn't arrived in Greece yet. It's probably gonna arrive at some point, but so far, so good. And I'm glad we are like this.
The last 7 days has really shown me that there's a lot that's changing. There's going to be a lot more showing your identification to access every part of the internet. That free, anonymous space that many people crave and love, that is slowly but surely dying out.
Yeah, well, it feels like the internet has been getting worse instead of better. We reached a plateau at some point, and then it's all downhill from there.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I decided to look at YouTube here, where they were saying that starting August 13, 2025...
Wait, what about all those, you know, engineering things? Why don't you start with that?
So, actually, not that much time left. They'll be rolling out an age estimation model to determine if a US user is under the age of 18.
I'm okay with the Children Online Safety Act. I'm okay with it in principle. In the principle that it actually protects the most vulnerable online. However, I am very much against the way it was implemented. More or less the government is like, okay, we're going to protect the children. Now all the private companies are responsible for doing that for us. And the problem with that is that instead of having a unified way of, you know, the government authenticating your data to those companies, now every one of these companies is going to individually store everyone's data, which is a huge breach of privacy first, and then it also is like pointless. It's like all these redundant extra things that, you know what, in the end of the day, people are going to find a way to bypass this.
So this will happen regardless of the birth date you've entered. And I'm sure there's plenty of YouTube accounts that are 99 years old, because I'm sure plenty of the young ones definitely set their age to 1900 when they were making their account, as many people back in the day did. So the model uses a variety of signals like YouTube activity and longevity of the account. If we determine you're under 18, you'll be notified. As always, you have the option to verify your age, and they ask you by giving a government ID.
Government ID, selfie, credit card. So you're gonna have to give that to Google.
A selfie, or, God bless, a credit card. So they actually gave all the smorgasbord of verification options. So basically, if they determine a user is under 18, then the account becomes a teen account on YouTube, meaning that you get non-personalized ads. So for a lot of people that do make children's content, prepare to see your income dip pretty successfully.
Yeah. Your income, if you have like YouTube Kids or something, your income will dip. Yeah, that's true. I watched a video the other day, and it was saying that they're using like all these social media sites, YouTube and X and whatever. They're using like one or two different specific companies to facilitate this identification process, and one of those companies is linked to Palantir, which is suspicious, to say the least.
Down on this platform, because you really do need the personalized ads to make good money. Enabled digital well-being tools by default, like taking a break.
Okay, but what happens with... Does he talk about this at all? Finally, he did say, he said the thing. Okay, I think he does say something, but a bit later.
Uploading a video, minimizing YouTube. If our age estimation model did proof way of isolating kiddies from adults. Now,
okay.
I use the E word over there, and I want to...
What another thing that I find strange is like, why are the governments now taking the role of parents? Like, it's almost like a nanny state. now. It's like, you know, parents have 1,000 applications in their disposal, all of which can do the exact same thing. They can lock your children's devices out of websites that are considered not safe for work. And this one now, this whole Child Safety Act is an extra on top of that. So I don't understand. I don't understand why we would have to do this.
I want to just start talking a little bit. I know there's been some drama, and I
Okay.
want to kind of address things here really quick.
Yes.
So obviously, I have been calling myself an engineer, in some cases a programmer, a cybersecurity engineer, whatever you can call it. And, you know, I apparently have also been a dropout, which I don't hide. Now, obviously, me being a dropout, I don't have a degree, so I'm not a certified or licensed engineer. Now, I made a lot of videos in the past where I've taught you guys about computer safety, cybersecurity, a lot of this stuff, and I think that content stands up on its own.
It does. Like I said in my first video, I have learned a lot from Mudahar's videos. And he knows his shit. It's just that you don't have to, you know,
and I believe
embellish.
it actually can be used, you know, people have learned from it, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel offended, if you feel wrong that I called myself an engineer while not being a degree-holding engineer,
Honestly, I'm not offended. I just, you know, I personally am not offended. It's just annoying to know.
then for that I do apologize. And I will denigrate myself to, you know, I guess programmer or a fat Indian guy that knows a bit about computers. That's what I'll leave it at.
You know, that's a decent apology. You know, no bullshit. Just
And that's pretty much all I have to say. Now again, if you want to stick around,
okay. He apologized. Very good.
awesome. If you still feel wronged and this does not suffice for you,
Okay, he apologized. Okay, I personally can look past this because he has really good content and very educational, and I can tell he knows his shit.
then I don't really give a fuck. Simple as that. Now,
You do give a fuck. You do give a fuck because, you know, that's your. The whole thing is like viewer numbers. You do give a fuck. You know, you do.
again, that being said, if anything else comes out of this, you know, whether there be some legal stuff, then I'll just let lawyers handle it.
Legal stuff. Why would anybody go for legal? No, there's no point. But yeah.
But that being said, I want to move forward, and that's pretty much the engineered response that I had to give.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said the thing.
Into what's going on the other side of the world. So the United Kingdom, when they launched
Okay.
the online safety app,
Okay, he apologized. And he's moving on. I think it's good. I think what he's doing is the good thing. He apologized, he's moving on, he's gonna continue showing us things that are interesting and important, and I think that's a good thing.
act.
I can see the like to dislike ratio here. I don't know if it's visible, but there are like a few dislikes, but I think since he apologized and moving on, people will move on to that from that.
One of the ministers, one of the people on TV came out and started saying this about VPNs.
For everybody who's out there thinking of using VPNs, let me just say to you directly, verifying your age keeps a child safe, keeps children safe in our country.
You know what else keeps your child safe? Not giving it an iPad when he's or she's like 5 years old and 6 years old and 10 years old. Or like when you do, you have installed parental locks, which are so easily available for everybody. You don't have to do this. Like this is one step closer to Orwellian, you know, Orwellian style surveillance and stuff.
So let's just not try and find a way around. Just prove your age, make the internet safer for children, make it a better experience for everyone.
Dog, if I have to give my identification card to every single website and game and service, that is not a fun experience. That is actually so fucking frictioned and annoying that I don't want to deal with the internet.
They're turning the internet harder and harder to use for apparently no reason, because now this one overlaps with other ways you can protect children. So, you know, I don't know. It's like, oh, people aren't wearing their seat belts while driving, So now we will limit all cars to 10 kilometers per hour, unless you can verify that you're wearing your seatbelt. Okay, actually no, that's not. Would that be okay? I don't know.
Now, it's funny that I looked at this and, you know, I always kind of joked around and said, man, all these laws are probably getting passed by VPN lobbies, like they just want to get their stocks going up. But the thing about it is, obviously, the VPNs were never going to be an answer, okay? Because it even came out that apparently some of the people in the government, like, had expense sheets that came out because they're public servants, that apparently they were paying for VPN subscriptions. So really, it's rules for thee, not for me, that kind of bullshit.
It's always like that. Rules for thee and not for me. It's always like that. Always. I remember during COVID era, all of the rest of us had to wear masks, but politicians would meet and do events and none of them would be wearing. Or they would be pretending to wear while talking to the microphones and then removing it and just going about their own day. Or the Epstein case, how you can, like, you know, do all that evil, horrible stuff that would send any other person in jail for life, but you know, the people who are involved are all free and walking around and gaslighting us.
And the thing about it is, obviously, with these laws being passed where they want to verify, you know, actual people's identifications, VPNs are not going to be a tool that is going to be around much longer if these governments or these organizations are really gung-ho on taking away your privacy. Now, that doesn't mean that you should give up on VPNs, like I've recommended Mudahar VPN.
I don't use Linux, but I should be looking into a VPN. But the problem is that we need to do something about the way the internet is being handled. This is not how we're not supposed to put absolute control on things like the internet. How much more regulation, right?
And is a pretty great option. But even when it comes to things like YouTube, right? There was something that I saw floating around where apparently YouTube was blocking VPN usage. The internet is genuinely dead. I just got this for the first time. I live in the United Kingdom, so I don't want to submit ID. And of course, it all came up to this VPN proxy detected on YouTube. Now, I want to kind of, you know, disarm this because I think it's actually misinformation. So, for instance, on YouTube, there's a channel known as Formula One. And over here, you can see that I've loaded up a 8-minute race highlight.
Okay.
Now, why isn't this loading up necessarily? Well, it's because if I fire up a VPN really quickly, for instance, like NordVPN, connect, God forbid, the United Kingdom, and I hit enter, you can see that, again, if I refresh this page, this video will give that little...
United Kingdom has become more restrictive of its internet than North Korea. You know, we are approaching Kim Jong-un levels of censorship.
Error VPN proxy detected. You might have seen it for a half second, but that's just kind of how it works. So why is this video not working? Well, it's because they've actually restricted the Formula One channel, from my understanding, from reaching to generally every part of...
Why? It's Formula. It's not like somebody will jump. It's not like the... I don't know, bro. Why the Formula?
the world, right? There are actual licensing limitations. You can actually see this happen with like movies, sporting events, just YouTube TV in general. Now, the thing about VPN services is that they're not necessarily services that, you know, are undetectable. If you go to Netflix with a...
Okay, so I think Mudahar's apology was this part. This was a minute, around a minute. No ukulele, so that's apology. Next video. Mudahar just need to rest after a long night of being a SWAT. He engineered his way out of the whole situation. He said it, he said the thing.
YouTube's pretty much engineered, I would say, in their mind, it seems a pretty foolproof way of isolating kids from adults.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it. He replied, he apologized, and we're moving on. Of course, he didn't address the other stuff, you know, but it is what it is. I personally, you know, this is not the first time where I've seen such a thing, and at least this one is a very small just a very small thing compared to other things, but still, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, Mudahar responded, he apologized, and we're ready to move on.